Louise has joined us, and she came with a great concept, which has always been in my mind and has been in our folklore and in our lives for a long time, which is a banshee.
Yeah.
And she told me over an email which she had decided, and of course, a banshee is open for interpretation. And so the question is always what were going to be your inspirations
Yeah.
and your resources. First, before we jump into that, I really want to get into that, but let me have you hold this up.
Yep.
And tell us how to get in touch with you.
My Instagram name is Louise Murphy Model Maker, and you can find all my stuff and my online portfolio link there. So
Perfect. And well, here it is, right here. Before we jump into the sculpture, can you tell us? I want to hold this up real quick and just tell us about you being online and what attracted you to the references that you brought with you.
So I wanted to do an Irish legend, and I thought of the banshee, and I wanted to create a sculpture that represented what I thought the story meant. And basically, in old Irish folklore, the banshee is like a family member, and when someone dies, she cries. She like appears and she cries.
Right.
But in like media, she's kind of portrayed as like the villain, and it's like just a ghost that appears. But it's still cool. But I think I wanted to make it more that she wasn't evil. She's more sad than angry, because a lot of my references here are all banshees from media, and they're all angry. So I wanted to make her sad, because it's basically someone you care about in your family coming back to just let everybody know something's going to happen and warn everybody.
And they're kind of sad and crying because of that, that idea.
And over here are the birds, because the banshee can turn into a bird, and I just kind of came up with the idea. I also kind of blended her with the character of the Morrigan, and I was always inspired by that. Basically I wanted the birds to be flying out of her hair, and
beautiful.
A bit of a wacky one, but
well, you got a lot of great energy in the hair for sure. But instead of the angry brow, she went for something that I read as being sad. Once again, you have somebody in a full arced expression, and the eyes raise right here. It's not a compression like that of anger. You know when somebody's looking at you and they got you. They got you in their sights. Boom. She didn't have that. She has almost like a shock. Like, I can't believe this is happening. Whoa! I know I'm reading quite a bit into it, but that's what I get from this. And also here, you communicated a little bit of tension there. In other words, this is rising. So there is a little bit of wrinklage here that just sells the fright for me. But tell me about the hair. I fell in love with the hair because it just came on really today and yesterday as well. Yeah. But tell me about how you feel about that hair and how you grew that.
Well, I wanted everything to look like it's going upwards, and she's a spirit, so it kind of has a buoyancy to it, and it's supposed to defy gravity.
Yeah.
And I wanted the birds to be tangled up, and they're almost escaping her hair when she screams.
Yeah.
And
look at this bird in here. Look at.
I call him the Jesus bird because he's in a cute position, but
well, he's spread open across the back of her hair. You can see his wing going in there, but
yeah, I wanted it to be kind of a confusion of hair and birds, so that it's almost like you don't notice the birds until you look closer. So yeah.
Can I get you to hold?
Of course, yeah.
Thank you. Wonderful. Well, I just want to turn it like this. Do you have a sweet spot? My sweet spot is usually a quarter turn.
Yeah.
Do you have a special moment or a special angle that you look at when
I don't know. Whichever side you think, because I like the quarter turn on either side of the stone. Whichever side you think looks best. I think there is nice. That's nice.
That's very nice, too, because also she's gone ahead and created a wound there. And I do want to mention to you, this is going to go a little bit further after we're done filming. And you're already starting to talk about making molds, which I'm so happy about, because as always, if she molds this, she can run 3 or 4 copies, throw the master copy under the bed, forget about it. And if she ever needs to make a new duplicate mold or what have you, she has that option. But I hope you run a few polyfoams and latex and then do some paint variants. Because this is a metaphysical being, once again, I always am looking for paint opportunities, even though I'm a sculptor. And, a whitish paint job, whitish blue, anything that implies ghostly type things is wonderful. but you can also do iridescence. You can also do faux bronze or a metallic. Just the fact that it's polyfoam and latex doesn't really affect your paint, other than it's going to be an opaque makeup or a paint job. But nevertheless, do you think you might do silicone with this, or no? You're not. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking silicone.
Okay.
And we were talking about a little bit of mixed media, like little bits and pieces popped in as well would be cool. So that'll be a surprise when I do that. But there's some ideas that we've been throwing around which are cool. So.
I love it. And when she's talking about mixed media, there's a real power in that. We know she's going to have composite or resin eyes. We know that because we see the screws coming out here. That's set up for molding, if you have any questions about that. She's got probably some fourth seal eye bucks in here, so she'll be able to put in a finished cosmetic eye that you purchase through Fourth Seal, I believe, because that's their buck, and we'll be able to coordinate with the size there. But once again, as she has some polyfoam heads here, she could put chains in there, leaves, not real birds, but some real feathers could be dressed in, jewels, toys, little timepieces. I'm not kidding. Anything that she adds in here can add history or interest into this. And once again, it's an open book. She can go anywhere. I myself, people see your art and they get moved by it.
Yeah.
I myself, during a relaxed moment, I had a feeling of what would it be like to see one of these birds, one of these crow, pulling away and escaping. Literally, and of course I don't expect you to do this, but as if she had stuck a dowel in here, put the bird out here on a dowel, and then sculpted the hair to it. Yeah. Not that you do that, but this thing has that kind of energy, where the end user, me, she's let her imagination run. So my imagination wants to join in with it. I'm overstating it a little bit, but it just goes down to pure joy. And she wanted to do a little bit more work on the spine today. I think that's going to happen. Yeah. And I want you to follow this wonderful artist. And I'm always excited about your next sculpture. Yeah. This was my chance to meet you and share some tools with you. Yeah. And did any of the tools stand out for you? Did you find a tool that you like that you know you're going to use?
I really liked the D9, and I really liked, I don't know what it's called, it's the twisty wire tool we used for the hair. That was really good, because it was just...
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Okay.
The rubber tool as well was great.
Right. Well, good. Once again, we try to impart some tool use because that can be used in so many different sculptures and what have you. But anyways, it's so fun to see the proof is in the pudding. You can't fake a sculpture. Yeah. So we'll look forward to see your processing, and we'll be following you so that when you do post this, and of course myself, be looking for your next sculpture. And I'll be searching in there to say, did she use that tool? Yeah. That kind of thing. And, well, it was great to work with you.
Thank you, Don. Thanks for all the help as well. And it was really, really fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Anyways, well, thank you so much. And everybody out there, thank you. And we'll see you next time. Yay. You can come forward and take a few beauty shots. I'm going to be quiet now, folks. And I just want to turn this to you and let you enjoy it. And once again, the energy here is fantastic. Good stuff. When I first started talking to Louise, we thought maybe she would close the mouth and then open the mouth as the sculpture evolved. She's strong enough. She has enough experience. And boy, she went right in, straight to the block out of the mouth open. Wonderful, wonderful. Sometimes you want to sculpt to the end effect. Sometimes you don't want to take yourself through too many variants. And as I turn that, look at that. Isn't that nice? Frank, could you run and kill the house lights over here on the wall? We're going to do a little contrast. We're going to turn off some of the house lights. Go ahead and kill those. Thank you. And I love to, even just a little change in light adds a lot of contrast to the activity and all the things she's invested in. Let's go around one more time and then we'll wrap up. And you can really see the contrastiness in the hair. This is beautiful. Gorgeous. And here I see the hair wrapping in and kind of holding on. Seems to be holding on to the crow. At least that's what those pieces coming across the wing, because I can see the wing in there. And then around here, because of the contrast light, you can see some of the age stuff. And this dysfunction here, I love that. Life is not too symmetrical. So once again, this is now singing for me because the light changed in the room. And you can see kind of a zombification, old age. Well, I also get a feeling like as if this was on an understructure. Somebody put a vacuum in it and the skin kind of sucked in. Well, needless to say, fantastic. I love it.